We know Dubai really loves to break records, and that's exactly what they did with the world's tallest observation wheel back in 2021. Standing at over 250 meters, the Ain Dubai, or Eye of Dubai, is nearly double the height of the London Eye. Located off the coast on the artificial Bluewaters Island, it's the largest observation wheel in the world, able to hold 1,750 passengers at once. That's 82 meters taller than the previous record holder, and it cost millions and millions of dollars to build. Today at Ultimate Megabuilds, we'll look at how this record-breaking project was brought to life. In terms of engineering challenges, Ain Dubai was in a league of its own. The engineering stress didn't just increase step by step, it grew exponentially. This wheel had pushed engineering limits more than any other. Back in 2013, the plan was to build a 210-meter tall wheel, but the design was eventually scaled up to need 33% more steel than the Eiffel Tower. Building such a massive structure on an artificial island made mostly of compacted sand might not sound ideal, but the sand doesn't really hold up the wheel. Instead, Ain Dubai's foundation piles, drilled down 35 meters, reach 5 meters into solid bedrock, bypassing the man-made land entirely. Bluewaters Island just helps to stabilize it from the sides. The real work began with constructing the 4 legs of the wheel, each 126 meters long, just 9 meters shorter than the total height of the London Eye. The main challenge for engineers wasn't the size of the legs, but keeping them at the right angle during assembly. The hub and spindle, which tie everything together, make the wheel stable. Welding the legs to the spindle took about 4 weeks of non-stop work. To handle such a heavy load, engineers used the world's 3rd largest fixed crane, capable of lifting 3,000 tons, along with the largest mobile crane, which can also lift 3,000 tons. The reason for needing a total of 6,000 tons of lifting capacity comes down to the challenge of reach. With the legs in the way, the ability to lift heavy weights at a distance decreases, making both cranes necessary for the task. Observation wheels might look light and simple once they're up. They need to be self-supporting and strong enough not to buckle under their own weight, which is a huge engineering challenge. To achieve this, builders essentially construct a second wheel inside the rim as a temporary support structure. Darren Brooke, the Senior Technical Director at WSP Middle East, compares this process to assembling a Dairy cheese box, where 8 triangular segments come together to form a circle. To maintain the structure during construction, they used what they called a temporary rigid spoke made of structural steel instead of cables. Because the rim segments were very slender, they had to be built like a bridge. This allowed them to span between 2 temporary spokes. They could then hoist the first segment 100 meters up, slot in the second segment, add another rigid spoke, and continue the process. While this sounds quick, the reality is that moving from one segment to the next, installing, jacking up, and preparing for the next piece actually took about 3 to 4 weeks each time. Once the outer rim of the wheel was complete, the builders began the delicate process of removing the temporary support structure. They did this by working backwards, progressively replacing the bulky structural steel with 192 pre-tensioned heavy-duty cables. Impressively, these cables contain enough wire to stretch from Dubai to Cairo. It's a distance of 2,400 kilometers. At this stage, caution was crucial because overstressing the permanent spokes could be disastrous. The team methodically went around the wheel doing a complete revolution, replacing steel with cable and tensioning each new spoke. Each phase of this work took about 3 weeks, totaling nearly 6 months, just to remove the temporary steel framework. Interestingly, every element of Ain Dubai's temporary structure was painted white, not for aesthetics, but to prevent uneven expansion due to the intense Dubai heat. This measure was critical to avoid any warping or buckling of the rim. With the superstructure finally complete, the next step was to attach the 48 passenger cabins to the outside of the rim in a precise pattern. This careful arrangement helped keep the wheel balanced and prevented excessive stress on its driving mechanism. Speaking of the driving mechanism, the jacking system initially used for temporary works was adapted and permanently incorporated into the structure. Now equipped with 64 tyres pressed against the rim, it gently rotates the wheel using friction, completing one full turn every 38 minutes. Designed to hold up to 40 passengers each, the cabins of Ain Dubai are more than twice the size and weight of those on the London Eye. Each cabin is equipped with a unique driving mechanism that rotates it at the same speed as the wheel, but in the opposite direction. This clever feature ensures that the cabin floor remains horizontal throughout the rotation, providing a stable and level experience for the passengers. Unlike on a typical Ferris wheel where passengers might all move to one side and cause the cabin to tip, this doesn't happen on Ain Dubai thanks to the automated system keeping everything balanced. Originally planned to open in time for Expo 2020, Ain Dubai, developed by Mires, officially opened its doors on October 21, 2021. The project was built at an estimated cost of 1 billion AED or $270 million. However, in March 2022, Ain Dubai stopped operating for what was described as periodic enhancements. Over a year later, in April 2023, the operators announced that Ain Dubai would stay closed indefinitely without giving any further details. At that time, the wheel's axle was covered in scaffolding, and the German TÜV Association, which had been involved in certifying the wheel's safety during construction, had withdrawn its safety certification. In April 2024, there were sightings of the Ain Dubai in operation again, but it remained closed to the public and no official reopening date had been announced. Despite this, the wheel still stands strong against the JBR Skyline, ready to turn again when the time comes. Well, that's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this exploration and want more fascinating content and construction insights, don't forget to subscribe to Ultimate Megabuilds. We'll be back soon with another exciting video.